world of harsh extremes, wildlife cameraman Andreas Keeling sets out to film some of the rarest, most elusive and most misunderstood animals on Earth. From the biggest land animals of all to survivors in the ice zones, Keeling is in rugged pursuit of the world's wildest encounters. Northern Canada, one of the coldest regions on Earth. Andreas Keeling is on his way to Hudson Bay. Somewhere out there live the biggest land predators on our planet. Polar bears, literally the poster child for global climate change. Finding them won't be easy as they cross this expanse of snow and ice to get to the sea and their food. Just 20 to 25,000 polar bears remain in an area larger than Europe and the United States combined. It's the end of February. Daylight slowly returns here in the north after a winter of twilight and darkness.
I'm now for 5 days in the Canadian Arctic. The temperature is minus 41 degrees Celsius, and about 200 meters far from me it's a polar bear den with a sow and 2 cubs, but I saw her only once for a short moment.
Dusk still comes early at this time of year. The search at minus 40 degrees will have to continue tomorrow.
For today, they predicted a high-pressure front. Instead, we get a snowstorm. And it had to be today that I get my first proper chance to film polar bears.
It's very difficult in a snowstorm to film polar bears. I don't know where they are. It's a little tricky.
As the storm grows stronger, 2 bears stage a mock fight. These are young males. Females will be keeping well clear of them, guiding their growing cubs to the sea, where they will learn how to hunt.
I think I give up. It's too cold here, too windy. I get a frostbite on my nose and my cheek.
The next day, Andreas discovers signs of a mother and her cubs on the move. They sheltered from the snowstorm here.
It's very protected from the wind. And you can see here the little crawls from the cubs. So it's not a bad place. The wind comes from the other side. So you're really protected here.
The icy wind sculpts the snow. The astonishing crystalline beauty of this place thrills the eye as it freezes the blood. And the thermometer descends with the sun.
This morning it's 42 below Fahrenheit, and I like to try a little experiment. Throw boiling water in the air, and normally this freezes in this temperature very, very quick. Yeah, this needs only 2.5 seconds on this temperature, and the boiling water starts to freeze up in the air. Very chilly this morning.
It could take Andreas hours to find the mother and her cubs. All he knows is that they must be walking due east to reach the sea beyond the pack ice at Hudson Bay and their first solid meal.
Here you can see the tracks. The mother and the young.
And suddenly he finds the family shielding itself from the wind. This mother bear hasn't eaten a thing for 8 months. She's used up her body fat suckling her cubs. She should be making faster progress to the sea where she can hunt, but she's been lying over there in the bushes for 6 hours now.
The reason why I think is one of the cubs is very small and I think he is sick.
3 cubs is unusual. Polar bears usually give birth to twins, born around 30 centimeters long. Now, after 3 months, they weigh 10 to 15 kilos. But the little one is no more than a third of that. After resting, the mother must press on to keep herself and her young alive. Without more food, her milk will very soon dry up. She constantly turns around to make sure that all her cubs are still following. The little one can only just make it. And after 2 days of snowstorms, Andreas and the bears face the inevitable.
The track of the little one, it's gone. But it's also no blood in the snow. Maybe a wolverine or a wolf take him away. I was pretty sure he cannot survive. He was too skinny and too small.
Two days later, I travel east on a snowmobile, hoping to cross their path again. It's no warmer, and it looks like more snow is on the way. I finally spot the she-bear. She knew before I did that a storm was coming. She and her cubs have sought out the only hill, far and wide. I stay close by, and I'm rewarded with some wonderful shots.
Polar bears' hollow, colorless hair insulates their warmth-absorbing black skin. Beneath that skin, a layer of blubber up to 11.5 centimeters thick provides insulation.
Right now it's 51 below. In spite of that, the mother bear is still sitting in the wind with her cubs.
At this stage, the cubs' only food is their mother's milk. It is incredibly nutritious, containing about 33% fat. The bear family frequently encounter herds of caribou. But today, they're not on the mother's menu. Chasing them for food would be a terrible waste of her rapidly depleting energy, and almost certainly unsuccessful. The eastward trek must continue.
I followed these magnificent animals another 50 kilometers to the coast at Hudson Bay. Now they must cross another 30 kilometers of ice to the open sea. But I can't follow them anymore. This is my limit.
Trading the Arctic's biting cold for the steamy tropics, Andreas' next adventure puts him on the twisted trail of one of the most elusive creatures of all.
I'm in Amazonia, the biggest rainforest in the whole world. Here, nature creates a lot of records. One of the records is the biggest snake in the world, the Anaconda, and I'm in search of this creature.
There are legends of anacondas more than 10 meters long, but no reliable proof.
Wow, look at that. The skin feels for me very soft and very dry, like paper. And it's very flexible. This has to be from an anaconda, so it's my first sign. A huge anaconda has to be around here.
But he can't tell where it's gone. And to make sure he won't get lost, Andreas uses a local trick.
Here in the jungle, it's very easy to lose the orientation. So First Nation people have a very simple trick. They use the young shoots of a palm tree. And if you look inside, they are like neon. They just green and they glow at night. So you put the little leaves like this on the ground and then you mark your trail. And then you know which trail you have to use. Right in front of me, it's a wonderful boa constrictor. Wow, about 2 meters long. I can't believe, after all the days here in the forest, my first big snake. Actually, my first reptile. I think she's really warm. Okay. I have to be careful. The snake is very skinny and very light. Looks like she got the birth just a couple days or weeks ago. So boas and anacondas, they both have a live birth. And in the pregnancy, in the time of the pregnancy, they don't eat. So this means 3 to 4 months, no food. I think that's the reason why the snake is so light and so skinny. But it's so wonderful. Look at this. Normally you have to be very careful if you get a bite from a big snake. I mean, they are not poison, but the spit has a lot of bacteria, so you get a really bad infection.
Andreas continues his search up one of the many arms of the Amazon, a smorgasbord for a hungry anaconda. Surprisingly, caimans are on the anaconda's menu, though it sometimes works the other way too. Capybaras certainly fear the giant snake. These relatives of the guinea pig can weigh more than 60 kilos. A green anaconda can swallow one whole. And green iguanas make a nice anaconda nibble. Andreas picks up the trail of his elusive quarry.
This here is a track from a big anaconda. It's very huge. And she hits direction west. It's easy to tell because she used her tail end to push her forward to the next mud hole. The snake can be all over around here in the warm water, but if I don't step on her or touch her with my hand, I never will find her. This is a perfect place, especially for younger anacondas, to stay over the daytime, because it's always shadow here, it's a little bit wet, and in the little caves here, I have a pretty good chance to find a reptile. Here's one. That's a yellow anaconda.
Yellow anacondas grow to less than half the size of their cousins, the enormous green anaconda.
I think the snake is not longer than 2.5 meters. And the age, maybe 1.5 to 2.5 years old. But she's very massive. I'm a little in worry about the big scar here and on her neck. I mean, this is still bleeding and smells very rotten. So I'm not sure she will survive this attack. Could be from a caiman. It's really interesting. When I release the snake on the head, on the neck, she don't attack me. If I do the same with a python or with a boa, she will bite me right now. So anacondas, they are really mellow, relaxed snakes, and I think this is one reason why they are now an endangered species.
Anacondas spend half their time on land and half in the water, where they love to hunt piranhas. And they're not the only ones. The birds enjoy a piranha hunt too. And Andreas joins in.
I have no bleeding cuts on my legs. I think it's not a big problem to go deeper in the water because the bigger piranhas,
They are in the middle of the water. I use this very traditional fishing pole from the Indians. Here's a bigger one, a nice one. So, piranhas have very sharp teeth. It's not a good idea to get the finger here in the mouth. Look at all the teeth. Utsja.
At last, Andreas finds a healthy young anaconda. It's another yellow one. It won't like being disturbed.
Here it is. I got it.
Oh yeah. I mean, look at this. The prints on my arm. Yeah.
It's really not very big. I'm going to unwind it. It has beautiful markings. Look at my arm. This is the grip of a 2-meter-long anaconda. That's what the hand looks like. Completely bloodless and blue.
Young big snakes, they like to attack the enemies. But if they are not successful, then they start to make this round ball. The head is always in the middle.
These waters teem with piranhas and water insects, and almost certainly more anacondas too. But right now, Andreas wants to take some time to smell the flowers.
And they are here, the biggest water lilies in the whole world, the Victoria Amazonica. She flowers for 3 nights, first white, then pink. The third night she opens again, and then she is totally red, rosy, in a beautiful color. And the next morning she closes the leaves and she sinks to the ground. And that's all, not more. It's a wonderful flower, I think.
But the beauty of this place lies only on the surface.
So I'm here because it's a wonderful place, it's a great light, but it's a painful place for me. And I think I have really, I have a little piranha on my feet, so or some animal. So it's not nice. No, it's not a nice place. I think I go out. So it's really time I go back to my camp. When the sun comes down, a lot of mosquitoes come out.
And at least where piranhas are concerned, revenge is a dish best served warm.
Piranhas, they are the most tasty freshwater fish, what I know. The meat is very white and has no bones. They are very delicious.
Though the giant green anaconda managed to give him the slip, Andreas finally catches up with one. In Germany.
So, I'm now not more on the
Amazon River.
I'm right in the middle of Germany. And this is Etna, one of the biggest anacondas in whole Europe. They are kept in captivity. The snake is about 130 kilogram heavy, but she is very, very gentle. So, but if you see this monster of a snake, I think now you understand why people
In the Amazon
area, they are not too happy if you have this animal like a neighbor. Ooh.
An anaconda's stranglehold can quickly stop its prey's breathing and circulation. But Edna's just being friendly.
This snake is just 5 meters long. And it's so strong. I think now I know what the expression stranglehold means.
So Edna released me from her big hug. All reptiles, including big snakes, have a really small heart compared to the huge body. So they slow down very quick. And this is very comfortable for me.
Not everyone would feel so comfortable cuddling a constrictor. But afterwards, Andreas heads to China on a hearty quest for a real-life teddy bear.
I used to think pandas were invented by toy companies.
But they really live in the mountainous borderlands between China and Tibet.
Now for more than 3 hours, I fight with this bamboo bush. And I'm not sure, but I believe I follow a track of a giant panda bear.
Ponder the panda's dilemma. Its bamboo diet provides so little nourishment that it doesn't get a chance to hibernate like other bears. Instead, it eats its way through the calendar, chasing stalks and shoots in an ever-shrinking area. Even though their habitat gets smaller all the time, pandas are still hard to find. But Andreas spots a clue.
To this moment, I was not sure I really follow the track of a giant panda or just of an Asian black bear. But if you see this scut, this really is from a giant panda. It's no smell, looks like compressed, shredded wood. And if you see the frost inside, this tells me the bear's maybe 2, 3, 4 hours in front of me.
But instead, Andreas and his guide Mr. Chung find another animal almost as rare that no one has ever heard of, the golden takin.
I'm with Mr. Chung here in the mountains, and he has legs and the condition like an ibex. I'm a little bit out of breath. We are here in this area for panda bears, for giant pandas, and also for the golden takin, which is a very strange animal looking between a goat and a sheep. The takins are directly below us.
They're slow but nimble, timid but mean when crossed. Their oily fur repels rain and their big noses warm the winter air they breathe.
This was only a very, very short moment. I see him walking down here in the valley. They're pretty shy. He's gone. Too bad.
No pandas yet. Instead, Andreas sees some of the most magnificent landscapes in China, here in Zhujiaigu National Park. Zhujiaigu means Valley of 9 Villages. The crystal-clear mountain lakes shine a bright turquoise from the refraction of the light on the minerals in the water.
I never in my life saw so many blue and green colors on a freshwater lake.
About 1,600 giant pandas survive in the wild, but only 17 live in this park. The population suffered in the 80s when much of the bamboo died off. It's a natural process that happens every few decades.
Here down in the valley, it's a little local village. And not more far from here is the Tibetan border.
The Baima people live here, practically unknown to outsiders. The oldest villagers wear traditional dress.
Ni hao. I'm Andreas. Yeah, ni hao, ni hao. Do you know this panda? Chamba?
Oh.
No?
They haven't seen pandas for decades, but they have something else to show Andreas.
In this cage they keep for many weeks now Asian golden eagle. It's a juvenile, it's a young one. And they ask me, maybe I can bring him out, catch him and bring him out. The problem is always with eagles, the crawls. They are very big and dangerous because if they got you on your hand, you get a big infection, and it's very painful. But we try to bring him out. I hope I can do this. Okay. That's the important thing. Don't. Okay, that's the important thing. He can bite me, and yeah, you have to hold the crawls, and be careful with the beak. The beak is really big. I'm surprised he's pretty heavy. He's in a good condition. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. He's very afraid now, which is understandable. But he's a young one. You can see it. Ah, this is painful, I tell you. If we get you like this. Yeah, he's a young one. You can tell this here on the yellow streaks here on this side.
Whatever ailed it, the eagle seems healthy now, but he'll have to wait till spring to be released. Andreas continues his search for pandas, spending days unsuccessfully looking for tracks. And suddenly, pandemonium. Abandoning his search, Andreas arrives at the panda breeding station at Bifengxia.
10. Yes. Ah, okay, 10.
Andreas volunteers to work, but he has to pay for the privilege. The Chinese authorities know the pandas are worth it. And his first job is mopping up.
Yeah, it's a nice feeling to do something for a panda, to clean his cage, bring him new fodder, new food, and he starts eating. Sunday morning couldn't be better. This is Ping Ting, and they think this year it's her first year when she comes into estrus, and maybe she get a baby then.
Pandas go into estrus 2 or 3 days once a year. Ping Ting's diet may need a little boost to get her in the mood.
The pandas here in the breeding center, they live not only from bamboo, they get also a special bread. And every bear gets 3 times a day 400 grams of this special bread. Bread tastes like tastes like German pumpernickel. Very nice. Has a lot of fiber, minerals, vitamins. And let's see how heavy this is now. 410 grams. This works. They're very careful.
Around the world, about 300 pandas live in captivity, mainly in China. Cubs weigh only about 100 grams, about 1/900th of their mother's weight. They're very delicate.
This here is a nursery station for the panda babies. This guy here is about 2 to 3 months old, and he has to sleep in an incubator. So 2 reasons why they put the pandas in this nursery station. The mother comes earlier or quicker in heat, and mostly if a mother has 2 cubs, it's very risky to keep both.
She can only care for one infant and must let the weaker one die.
So if they raise it by hand, it's safer, because every panda, it's about $1 million on value.
That's $1 million a year. And these $1 million babies, no matter where they're born, still belong to China. But most will never see their ancestral forests.
The problem is later, when they like to release the pandas in the wilderness, they are too much used to human, and I think they are not more able to survive in the wilderness.
This 3 to 4 month old cub has never known its mother. Soon it will be introduced to the others. Like all bears in the wild, pandas normally live as loners. Only here are they socialized. They spend practically every waking hour eating as much bamboo as they can get their paws on. Caregivers cut it out from the surrounding woods, practically a full-time job. Bamboo grows year-round. It blossoms once in its lifetime, every 30 to 80 years, and then dies. Because it takes decades to replenish, bears in the wild have to move on to find new groves. But human agriculture and development have divided the bamboo forests, preventing the bears from migrating to fresher stands. And so we humans find ourselves simultaneously responsible for the giant pandas' plight and for their salvation.
It's a pity. I really wanted to meet a panda in the wild. But I think my experience here in Bifengxia, seeing a bear so close, makes up for a lot.
Just as China's efforts are helping to undo generations of damage, Andreas heads home to Germany to celebrate another success story. He's looking for one of the shyest, rarest, and most difficult to find animals, right here in his own backyard. The black stork. It's not even small. It has a wingspan of 1.5 meters, though it weighs only about 3 kilograms. It summers in the forest, needing several square kilometers of wooded territory. Hunting and pollution drove it away for more than 70 years. Now it's coming back. The black stork arrives about the time the daffodils bloom and the young male hares battle it out for the right to mate. Andreas' 17-year-old son Eric is also a budding natural history cameraman. Now they have a rare chance to go filming together. They know a pair of black storks comes to this mountain stream every spring, just 3 kilometers from their village.
If we want any chance of finding the stork, this is the place to look. Footprints, remains of fish, maybe feces.
And they find some feces.
So, that's amazing. Judging from the size, it can only be from a black stork. There are no white storks around here. Could just be from a heron.
No one knows how the storks remembered the migration routes they abandoned decades ago. But when the black storks come back to Germany from the winter quarters in Africa, they bring their appetite. Andreas and Eric lay out bait for them. In quiet parts of the brook, common toads have already laid their spawn. Alpine newts are still busy mating. The female is almost twice as big as the male. Her many suitors crowd around her. Now Andreas and Eric must wait to see whether the shy storks will take their bait. Instead, they capture something totally unexpected. A bird long disappeared from the Eifel Mountains, the hazel grouse. This cock wears its mating plumage. No one has seen a hazel grouse here in the last 20 years. I think it's seen us.
No, he would have flown away. Just don't move now. Stay very still.
It's a good sign that species like this are returning to their territory. But so far, no sign of a black stork. Andreas sets off for a previous black stork nesting site, hidden in the deepest, most isolated part of the forest. On a rocky outcrop, he finds what he's looking for.
What a gigantic nest! There's no raptor here in the Eifel that builds big nests. This can only be from a black stork. It's incredible. The moss here is old. It's from last year. When the storks come in a few days, they collect new moss and will probably build the nest even higher. I think I built my hide close by.
In the meantime, Eric's patience pays off. Back at the mountain stream, a stork couple finds the bait he laid out. It's an exciting moment for the young filmmaker. Black stork couples look identical even in the mating season. There's no way to tell them apart through their plumage. The birds like to eat small fish and crawfish, though they'll nibble on amphibians if they have to. Eric, hidden away, takes it all in. From their second year, their black plumage shimmers with blue-green iridescence. Nighttime finds Andreas among the rock peaks, ready for the late show. He sees black grouse perform their courtship display in almost complete darkness and watches the great eagle owl on the hunt. It's mid-May now. In the black stork nest, the first baby hatches. Its parents have left for a few minutes to grab a bite. They won't dally. The chick needs to be kept warm. Andreas has been waiting for this.
For 7 weeks I've been getting up at 3 a.m. and creeping into the forest to be in the hide before sunrise, so I don't disturb the birds.
Black storks are very sensitive to changes in their environment. The last thing he wants is to chase them away.
The chicks are now 30 days old. The parents are out looking for food.
The chicks have their first plumage and insatiable appetites.
One of the parents has flown back. The chicks have begun to beg. Pretty impressive what it has brought back. European bullhead, brown trouts, crowfish, all found in very clean mountain streams.
Black storks can only afford one brood in a summer. Unlike songbirds, they don't have time for a second. Their young grow too slowly. Today, Andreas and Eric arrived late, and that will disturb the storks. Time for an old natural history cameraman's trick. Birds can't count. So as long as one person leaves the hide, the storks think that the hide is deserted and they resume their usual habits. At about 45 days, the young have grown confident and relaxed. Usually, black storks brood high in deciduous trees, though nesting on a rock or a cliff is common too. Somehow, no weasel, fox or badger has threatened the fledglings.
I'm going, it's late. Before I leave, I have a very old trick. So I stick a bottle right into the tent. The glass imitates a camera lens. The bird thinks nothing has changed.
After about 60 days, the young black storks seem eager to fly, and soon they will. The parents have to gather enormous amounts of food to satisfy those ravenous appetites. At 69 days, they're strong enough to start practicing takeoffs and landings. Every 2 hours, the parents return with food or water they carry in their throats. The next day, day 70, the young birds take their maiden flight. Tomorrow they'll begin to hone their hunting skills, catching fish, frogs, and crawfish. But first, they have to master steering their near 2-meter wingspan between the trees. No easy task for a beginner. And once they leave the nest, they never fly directly back to it, making it hard for predators to find it.
It was a wonderful summer with the black storks. We were lucky. We had so much time to film. There are now 450 pairs of black storks in Germany, and numbers are rising. I hope to see this family come back safely from Africa next spring.
After recording the return of Germany's fair weather fowl, Andreas heads to a place where the weather and the creatures are ferocious. Andreas is flying in an old Soviet Antonov II over the Siberian taiga, the coniferous forest just south of the tundra.
Down under me, this is a typical living space of the Siberian taiga. And the last one. This area looks not very spectacular, but it's the last place in the world where the biggest cat lives.
It's a luxury to be able to film through an open window, but it's freezing. Flying over this bleak expanse is Andreas' first impression of the gigantic scale of the taiga's last refuge. It's December, and the temperatures can fall to -40 centigrade. Andreas lands at an Amur Tiger reintroduction station near the city of Khabarovsk, close to the borders of China and Korea.
I'm in the Russian Far East in Kruglov Rehabilitation Center, and this cat will be released in the wilderness in a couple months. So the Siberian tiger or Amur tiger, it's the biggest cat in the world. And I really like to suffer a lot to see this in the wilderness.
This 20-year-old tiger has been here since it was a cub.
In the 50s, nobody more believes this species can still exist. Now we have more than 450 again in the Siberian wilderness.
Right now, this station has only this one male tiger. These biggest of the big cats can weigh up to 300 kilos and stretch more than 2 meters from head to rump. Once he ruled the taiga. Now he's one of the world's most endangered species. In the 1960s, on the Chinese side of the border, the state sponsored an extermination campaign. No wonder the tiger regards humans with fear and suspicion. And on the human side, stories of the Amur tiger speak of him with enormous respect and terrible fear. Both deserved. Andreas goes on the road with the anti-poaching brigade.
The landscape here is not very spectacular. Looks normal for me, not like a wild tiger area, but we will see.
Today the team will set up a roadblock and check the catches of the guys returning from hunting.
Rarest, стой! Нормально, не дымит, не дымит. Все, пойдет.
The hunters, or maybe the poachers, don't appreciate the intrusion of the wardens. This group has been out hunting for sport. Looks like their papers are in order. Today doesn't look like a busy day. An afternoon glass of vodka takes the chill off. It's a life of luxury with the anti-poaching brigade. As well as countering the poachers, checking logging licenses is crucial to protecting the tigers.
Logging is a big thing here in the Russian Far East because they are all Korean pine trees. And the fruits of the Korean pine trees, they are the main food
for the wild boars. And the wild boars, they are the main food or prey for the Siberian tiger. So this has to be legal.
Ticket.
It's ticket.
Forest ticket. Legal.
Sergey and Yevgeny, they work together. Yevgeny works for the Wild Wildlife Fund.
Yevgeny has another solution to keep this habitat alive.
Our way is just to have a partner who could lease such forests.
Because if you cut the tree, he is gone. But if you harvest the tree, you have him for many, many generations, because he can stay maybe 100 years longer, produce a lot of seed, a lot of fruits. I understand.
When timber companies ignore their quotas, the forest disappears, and with it, the tiger's prey. The brigade is on duty 365 days a year. They spend their nights in a network of isolated forest huts. Late into the night, Andreas and the team discuss the grim outlook for the tigers. The conversation turns to an even rarer big cat in the region, the Amur leopard. They think this species is down to just 35 individuals. A couple of years ago, an amateur cameraman captured this amazing footage. The leopard seems remarkably relaxed even in the light of the camera. The cameraman also caught a Siberian leopard cat. To get these pictures, he had patiently put meat down week after week. But both animals avoided the bait until this night. The Siberian tiger is another matter. Hardly anyone claims to have seen one in the wild in recent years. This morning, Andreas is going out with Vasily, an Udek hunter, to find fresh tiger tracks. Their ancient snowmobile crashes through the forest.
Oh, here, another hunter is coming.
There are few strangers in the taiga. This is Leonid.
Меня зовут Andreas.
Andreas. Leonid.
Yeah. This is Vasily's brother, and he killed this big wild boar. I mean, this is a Far East Russian wild boar. So if I say wild boar, means like a wild pig. And he's the main prey of the Siberian tiger. But this is an old male, maybe 5 to 7 years old, and you see his sharp teeth here. So I think even a big tiger, he don't like to attack a big boar like this.
In this extreme cold, Leonid had to skin and cut up the boar on the spot. Otherwise it would freeze into a great block of ice. Andreas and Vasily walked down to the banks of the Bikin River. Vasily saw a tiger here a few months ago, but however hard they look, they find no fresh tracks.
Vasily says in some years he see 8 to 10 tigers here on the Bikin River. They like the water and they look for prey here. But the meetings, they are mostly 2 or 3 seconds long. This means the tiger sees Vasily, Vasily sees the tiger, and 1, 2, and he is gone. And he says the only chance I have to see a tiger is on a kill. But this means danger, because this is a tiger's prey, and I'm in a very tricky situation then.
The tiger's situation is even trickier, but there is hope.
One day I will return here, and maybe by then the king of the tigers will have regained his throne.